Thank you. Board Member Saron Ruiz, please make the announcement in Spanish.
Para esta reunión de la Junta Escolar hay servicios de interpretación en español disponibles al número 508-924-5155. El número es 508-924-5155.
Finally, for those who are not able to observe now, this meeting is being recorded and can be accessed for later viewing via the Prince George's County Public Schools YouTube channel. We will now be led in prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance by our student board member, Alvaro Saron Ruiz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. O God, we pray, to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance, steer us into action with love, wisdom, and understanding. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Ellis or Ms. Barton, would you please call the roll?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Mrs. Adams Stafford. Ms. Boozer Strother.
Present.
Mr. Saron Ruiz.
Here.
Mrs. LaSalle Frazier.
Present.
Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mrs. Mickens Murray.
Present.
Dr. Z. Miller.
Present.
Mr. Murray. Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Mr. Valentine.
Here.
Mrs. Williams.
Present.
Dr. Miller.
Present. Now we will have the adoption of the agenda for June 9, 2022. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move that we adopt the agenda for June 9, 2022.
Second.
It has been moved in second to adopt the agenda for June 9, 2022. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. The ayes have it. The motion passes to adopt the agenda for June 9, 2022. Now we will have the approval of board meeting minutes of May 12, 2022 during the board work session. May I have a motion?
I move that we accept the meeting minutes for May 12, 2022, board work session. Second.
It has been moved in second to approve the board meeting minutes for May 12, 2022 work session. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Before I start...
Excuse me,
with-
I didn't hear a
excuse-
second. I apologize.
What'd she say? Oh, Mickens Murray. This is a celebratory event tonight. I am just so pleased and happy to first congratulate our student board member on being elected for a second term. And hold up. Not only that, he is the first Latino X, correct, to serve in this position and to serve for dos termos. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything, board member?
Now I just want to say thank you so much to the students who elected me into this role for a second term. It's been an amazing role and an amazing experience this past year, and I'm excited to get the ball rolling. I know when you first come into the role, most of the time during your term is taken up like learning the processes of PGCPS, what it means to be a board member, and just getting to know the county. But definitely now with the experiences I've been able to gain and the relationships been able to build, I'm definitely excited to get the ball rolling this summer and just be able to serve this role in the best way possible. So thank you so much.
Thank you, board member. And congratulations again. Next, the Teacher of the Year recognition. For the year 2021-2022, we are going to recognize Ms. Adrienne Leak. This is the end of her term, but we as a board didn't have the opportunity to give her the recognition she so earned and deserves. Ms. Leak began her employment with Prince George's County Public Schools in May 2008 as an English teacher at G. James Golson Middle School, where she remained until the end of June 2012. July 2012, Adrienne Leak transferred to Duval High School as an RELA English teacher, where she continues to positively impact our students to this day. Ms. Leak was selected for this honor for her talent in the classroom, commitment to ensuring all students succeed, and supporting fellow teachers through ongoing professional development opportunities. Ms. Leak is committed to closing the educational opportunity gap for all students. Outside of the classroom, she serves as academic coach, professional development lead teacher, engagement and technology liaison, coordinator for the Aerospace Summer Bridge Program, and curriculum vetter for MSDE. Duval's principal, Ms. Pamela Smith, says, Ms. Leak's innovative techniques are driven by persistence and her genuine commitment to providing extraordinary opportunities and resources for both students and staff. She embodies the characteristics, professionalism, and fortitude of a master teacher and is most deserving to be recognized as Teacher of the Year. Please join me in welcoming and giving a huge round of applause to Ms. Adrienne Leak, the 2021 Prince George's County and Maryland Teacher of the Year. Before we give applause, I also like to acknowledge that Ms. Leak was given an honor by the Prince George's Retired Educators Association last week, and that was another honor bestowed upon her. So she has really, really exemplified what being a teacher is all about, and what she has contributed to our scholars. With that, Mrs. Hope Streeter, please come down to honor our Teacher of the Year recipient and present a token of appreciation. Is Adrienne here? Okay. That's Raven. Oh, okay. Come up here so they can get a good picture of you accepting, and then board members, we will take a picture. Turn around. The camera's that way. Raven. And put your badge down. Thank you. And Adrienne, did you want to make some remarks before you walk away with those gifts and before you take a picture with us?
Absolutely.
Okay, help yourself. Raven, take those gifts back.
Thank you all so much for honoring me here. Teaching truly is a service, and I really have loved serving Prince George's County Public School System. We are a dynamic school system. We have wonderful, talented educators. We have talented students, and I just humbly just thank you so much. And I look forward to supporting our next Teacher of the Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, team, is Pamela here? Is your principal here? Yes. Okay. the certificate of recognition presented to Adrian Lee, the 2021 Prince George's County and Maryland Teacher of the Year. That is really, really something to be very proud of. You local and state, you're doing it, okay? In recognition of your consistent dedication and contributions to the students of Prince George's County Public Schools, including long-lasting excellent service as an English teacher at G. James Golson Middle School and RELA English teacher at Duval High School this Thursday, June 9, 2022. Again, congratulations. Now we have some other recognitions. Prince George's County has been on the move. Our students have really, really achieved a lot this year. And for the fall season, we had teams that went to the state championship. And they are the boys soccer team, the 4A state champion was Northwestern. And for football, 2A state champion, Frederick Douglass, and Dr. Henry Wise. Okay, for the regional champions, the soccer boys regional champions, 1A South regional champion, I'll just call the champion names, International Langley Park, Fairmont Heights, Northwestern, and Bowie. That is for the soccer boys regional champions. For the soccer girls regional champions, CMIT North, Potomac, Parkdale, and Bowie. For volleyball regional champions, CMIT North, Gwynn Park, Bladensburg, and Bowie. Football, the regional champions, Frederick Douglass, Charles H. Flowers, and Dr. Henry A. Wise, Jr., a high school. Cross country regional champions, Charles Flowers, Eleanor Roosevelt. Golf, Charles H. Flowers. Now, for the winter season state champions of 2021-22, the girls indoor track state champions go to Largo. Sanaya Simmons, Wise, 300 meters and 55 meters for the 4A state champions. Boys basketball, 4A state champion, Eleanor Roosevelt. Frederick Douglass was second runner-up. Wrestler, state individual champions, Mai Sia Wills from Gwynn Park, Alex Belarin from Laurel, and Ari Mbutambe from Eleanor Roosevelt. In the winter regional championships for basketball, CMIT South, Frederick Douglass, Duval, Eleanor Roosevelt. For basketball, girls basketball regional champions, CMIT North, Gwynn Park, Parkdale, Charles H. Flowers. Wrestling, Eleanor Roosevelt, and that was for the South Regional Champion duels. Individual region champions, Caden Boone of Laurel, Wrestling Regional Champion 4A South. Kenneth Moore, Laurel, Wrestling Regional Champion 4A South. And Alex Bellerin, Laurel, Wrestling Regional Champion 4A South. And the spring season, we've been busy. The state champions are still pending competition. However, for the outdoor track regional champions, Crossland, Frederick Douglass, Charles H. Flowers for the boys, and Charles H. Flowers for the girls. Individual regional champions, Gwen Park for the 4x200 meter relay, Surrattsville girls, 100 meters, Surrattsville boys, 100 meters. And these are the names too. So Diamond Richardson from Surrattsville, Jalen Green, Surrattsville, Jamal McPherson, Surrattsville, and the boys 4x100 meter relay, long jump boys was Surrattsville. Khadija Aquatara, 4A South Regional Championship, 400 meter girls, Laurel. Amari Ari, 4A South Regional Champions, long jump boys, and he's at Laurel. Carlos Ochoa, 4A South Regional Champion, 3,200 meters, Parkdale. The corollary track state champions is still pending. The boys lacrosse regional champions, CMIT North, Chesapeake Math, and IT Academy North. 4A South Regional 1 champion, Northwestern. 4A South Regional 2 champion, Charles H. Flowers. Girls lacrosse regional champions, CMIT North, Chesapeake Math, and IT Academy North. Northwestern was Regional 1 champion, and Eleanor Roosevelt was Regional 2. For the softball regional champions, CMIT North, Gwen Park, Laurel was number 1, and Bowie number 2 champion. For baseball regional champions, South Regional, for the 1A South Regional, Central High School, 2A South Regional, Gwen Park, 4A South Regional 1 champion, Laurel, and 4A South Regional 2 champion, Eleanor Roosevelt. Tennis regional champions, 4A South Regional 1 champion, Laurel. 4A South Regional 2 champion, Laurel. Individual region champions, Noni Garrett, Frederick Douglass, tennis regional champion, 2A South. Caleb Ford, Cedric Johnson, Frederick Douglass, tennis regional champions, 2A South. Jayla Pickerel, Sarah Nelson, Gwen Park, tennis regional champions, 2A South doubles. Renee Doralis and Jasmine Gregory, Gwen Park, regional champion, 2A South doubles. Levante Jenkins, Gwen Park, tennis regional champion, 2A South. Katrina Alberciete, 3. Oxon Hill, tennis regional champions, 3A South. James Lovejoy and Malachi Simpson, Dr. Henry A. Wise, and this was for the doubles. Hanor Singh, Laurel, tennis regional champion, 4A South. Krisla Azar, Laurel, tennis regional champion, 4A South. Brendan Thornton, Hosea Ghana, Laurel, tennis regional champions, 4A South for the boys doubles. And Rachel Fagbinjo and Katharina Pilger, Parkdale, tennis regional champions, 4A South girls doubles. Have we done it this year? Did we do it? Did we do it? Let's give our scholars a big hand of applause. And I'd like to share with some of you that we have been attending the graduations, but I think Mr. Dickerson is going to report on the graduations. But I'd like to say that I had the pleasure of attending several awards programs, and our students have been receiving millions of dollars in scholarship money. People don't, that we don't, that doesn't get much publicity, but we have to market this. We have to let the world know that Prince George's County Public Schools scholars are doing it, and they're going places. We have scholars who have received scholarships to Harvard. I'll just say the Ivy League schools. I won't give any recognition to any schools, but they have received scholarships from all around the country. And I think at this point, we need to give them a big round of applause. And those of you watching, please. And let's thank the teachers. Okay, well, I think I've given you an earful in terms of all of our champion scholars. We will now move to a moment of silence. Colleagues, at this time, I ask that you all join me in honoring the memory of the following Prince George's County Public Schools staff, family, and community members with a moment of silence. Ira Jarrett, teacher, Charles Herbert Flowers High School. Jonathan Jackson, teacher, Legends Public Charter School. Renor Braithwaite, bus driver, John Hanson Bus Lot. Thomas G. Southern, senior, father-in-law of Latonia Southern, principal of the Excel Academy Public Charter School. Felicia Miller, mother of Robin Miller Fitterman, instructional specialist, Community Schools Office. Jonathan Kelly Jackson, teacher, Legends Public Charter School. Michael Scales, bus attendant, Greenbelt Bus Lot. Lavon Webb, teacher, Gladys Noon Spellman Elementary School. Chantal Joseph, paraprofessional educator, special education, Dora Kennedy French immersion. And I'd also like to add a special prayer for our board member, Shayla Adams Stafford, who lost a relative recently, and that's why she's not here tonight. So please, let's continue to keep these families and our colleagues in your thoughts and prayers. Amen. Okay, seems like I skipped somebody. No, I didn't. Not yet. Next is, I would like to give the upcoming meetings of the board. Please check our webpage for information about upcoming board meetings. The next public meetings of the board will be held Monday, June 13th, 2022, Academic Achievement Committee meeting. Tuesday, June 14th, 5 p.m., Policy and Governance Committee meeting. Wednesday, June 15th, Operations, Budget, and Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting. Thursday, June 17th and 18th, 8 a.m., the board retreat from the 17th and the 18th. And the public is invited for the meeting on the 17th. That's open to the public. Thursday, June 23rd, will be our next board meeting at 7 p.m. Again, please check our webpage for information about upcoming board meetings. Next, the ethics panel application. I will now yield the floor to the board members, Madeline LaSalle Frazier and Dr. Zipporah Miller, for an announcement regarding the application process for interested ethics panel volunteers.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair. The application is out, and we are asking that if we could extend the date for the ethics panel applications to extend to July 31st, 2022.
Thank you, board member Zipporah. It seems I got so excited, I forgot about our news break. Are we ready for the news break? Thank you.
May 18th was a very special day for 60 PGCPS graduating seniors, as they were all either the valedictorian or salutatorian of their high school class. As they sat in the splendor of Camelot's dining room, the county's top students listened as their post-secondary plans and their dream jobs were detailed for their beaming families and delighted school officials. Take, for instance, Leah Ellison-McGinn, headed to the University of Pennsylvania and a career in law. And Hannah Armstrong, who envisions a career in computer animation. both valedictorians. They were typical of their elite peers that night in giving credit to the school system that has brought them to the pinnacle of scholarly success.
UPenn has been my dream school since 9th grade. I love the environment, I love the community, so as soon as I got in, I knew that's exactly where I wanted to go.
Did you get a good education here in Prince George's, would you say?
100%. I went to College Park Academy. We're the 4th graduating class. We're very new. We're a public charter school, but I wouldn't trade going there for the world. I loved it here at PG County.
Yeah, how are you feeling tonight?
I was a little nervous at first. I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't expecting to get valedictorian, so for all this happened, it's just crazy. I'm so grateful for my teachers, the school, my parents for being okay with me pulling those all-nighters, because I pulled a lot of them. I'm grateful for just all my teachers for encouraging me to take AP classes, just encouraging me to do my best, so I'm so grateful for them. I'm so grateful for this. It was all worth it, and I'm so happy. Thank you for just PG County in general. It's amazing. I'm so happy that I went to school here. It's incredible. This is an experience that's like one of a kind.
Congratulations to all the Vals and Sals who will continue to be the best ambassadors for Prince George's County Public Schools that we could ever ask for. This is Dave Zarin reporting.
Again, congratulations to our scholars. Next, we will have the report of the Chief Executive Officer in place of Dr. Golson, who is on travel. Mr. Michael Dickerson, the Chief of Staff, I will now yield the floor to you for her report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We appreciate it. And you mentioned it, but we'll start with the 2022 graduation season has come to a close as we saw more than 7,000 seniors walk across the stage to earn their high school diplomas, and in some cases, an associate's degree as well. The class of 2022 collectively earned approximately $200 million in scholarship awards and acceptances to colleges and universities nationwide, as you mentioned. For a graduation season recap, including student spotlights, photo galleries, and more, visit Future Ready on the PGCPS website. There's also exciting news this week at Charles Herbert Flowers High School as Joint Base Andrews Commander Major General Joel Jackson arrived at the school by helicopter to host an aviation career event for JROTC students. Caleb Smith, a sophomore and color guardsman who happens to be the youngest pilot in the country to earn a private glider license, took off with the commander after the event. And as we approach summer break, families are invited to participate in our summer learning programs, which offer opportunities for acceleration, enrichment, intervention, credit recovery, or original credit. Summer Learning Spark classes are offered at no cost, either in person, virtually, or hybrid. More information and how to register can be found on our website. And over the summer months, PGCPS will also continue to support students with the distribution of meals across the county. Our annual Summer Food Service Program will offer meals at select school sites. Students attending in school summer programs will also receive breakfast and lunch. More information will be available on our website. And additionally, select Prince George's County Memorial Library locations will offer free lunch to children under the age of 18. And finally, we have teamed up with the Prince George's County Health Department to offer student immunization clinics from July 6th to July 27th. The goal is to urge families to complete necessary immunizations over the summer. And with that, Madam Chair, it concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Dickerson. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 2.11, Policy and Governance Committee recommendations. Colleagues, I will now yield the floor to Board Member Judy Mickens-Murray, the Chair, who will inform you of the committee's recommendations regarding revised policy 3323, bids for public comment. Board Mickens-Murray, would you please introduce item 2.11?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. The Policy Governance Committee met virtually on May 17, 2022, with the following members in attendance: Judy Mickens-Murray, Committee Chair Pamela Boozer Struthers, Committee Vice Chair Alvaro Cerrone Ruiz, and Sonia Williams, for committee members to discuss the purpose and utility of revised policy 3323 bids. The vote was unanimous to approve and forward to the full board for consideration for public comment at the June 9, 2022 board meeting. The purpose of policy 3323 bids is to identify standards and approvals necessary to ensure that funds provided to the Prince George's County Public Schools for materials, supplies, equipment, services, contract administration, and contractual services are expended and handled most effectively, prudently, and efficiently, and that the school administration and office supervisors to obtain goods, equipment, and services essential to the effective operation of the school system. If advanced by the board, the policy will be posted on the Prince George's County webpage and publicized by the school district for community input for a period of no later than 2 weeks. After public comments are received, the committee will consider the public comments and recommend any further revisions before making a recommendation to the board to approve the final version of the policy. Madam Chair, I move that policy 3323 be for public comment. Thank you.
It has been moved and second that policy 3323 be open for public comment. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. May I have all in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Next, we will go to 3.0, public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Colleagues, we have 14 registered live public comment speakers this evening and 1 written public comment. You have been registered to speak, to the public. You have been registered to speak in a public forum where the Board of Education will listen to your comments. The board will not address your comments. You must speak on the topic for which you have signed and registered. All registered speakers will have 3 minutes to provide comments. At the sound of the buzzer, speakers may complete that sentence only. Registered speakers may not relinquish any part of their speaking time to another registered or unregistered individual. Speakers may not address individuals or issues with profanity or derogatory terms. You will be warned once. If you continue, you may be asked to leave the meeting. Speakers are encouraged to use titles rather than names. For example, principal, CEO, deputy superintendent, etc. Your adherence to these guidelines will enable the public participation process to move smoothly. Our first registered speaker tonight is Timothy Meyer, Mount Rainier Elementary PTO, School Safety. I couldn't understand.
Should I keep mask on, or is it up to us whether we keep it on or off?
Just speak clearly in the microphone.
Okay.
But close to the microphone.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. I'm Timothy Meyer, president of Mount Rainier Elementary PTO, here to talk about school safety. To join tonight's meeting, I was thrilled to be asked for proof of vaccination. We need a full student and staff vaccine mandate for every school by next fall. COVID is not over, and school safety means stopping COVID as well as guns. But now for the main reason why I'm here. 2 weeks ago, a weapon was found at our school. It turned out to be a BB gun, but only 3 days after the events in Texas, you can imagine the fear that many parents felt, especially when we didn't know what type of weapon it was right away. Our school administration acted quickly, got the situation under control, and I can't thank them or praise them enough. But we can always keep learning, and we can always do a little bit better. I've shared parent feedback and hopefully constructive suggestions with Dr. Goldson. She made time in a very busy week to meet and listen, and we've already had the chance to discuss small process reforms that could improve communication with parents and communities in the future. I want to thank her for her responsiveness and her willingness to always work together. Communication is vital, and in any situation like this, parents need as much information as accurately and timely as possible. Simply saying there was a weapon without more context won't be good enough for many parents. So how do we fix things? We're all tired of the same old cycle. Wait for the survivors of gun violence or heartbroken parents who've lost their kids to speak out. The world listens for a week or two, moves on, then a few weeks later, another preventable tragedy happens all over again. That's why I'm here tonight, to ask fellow PGCPS parents to stand up now. None of us want to be the parents who lost our kids. We need to be the voices that speak up and save them. What can parents do? First, talk to your kids about guns and other weapons. Make sure they know a gun is never just a toy. That any weapon in a school, whether it's a knife, a Nerf gun, a BB gun, will be taken seriously. Teach your kids that if you see something, say something. It can make a huge difference. If you have firearms in your home, please take a minute and think about turning them in. If they're in your home, please keep them locked up and away from kids. And finally, don't think that minds can't be changed or that we can't make progress. They can, and we will. Like on so many other issues, PGCPS can lead the way, and Mount Rainier Elementary is ready to join you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Tanya Wingfield, Individual Policies. I don't see her. Terry Williams, Individual Governance. Diane Edwards, Individual Board Governance. Derek Holmesley, Individual Budget. Donna Young, Individual Budget. Keith Goodman, Individual Budget. Verly Burton, Individual School Budget. Were these people able to get through the front door? I just asked. Darlene Clark, Individual Budget. Raven Thomas, Individual Support of Board of Education Chairperson. Sydney Hinton, Individual Changing the Board of Education Chairperson. Ava Annette Richardson, Individual State Board Investigation of Chairperson. Randy R. Richardson, Individual Support of the Chair. Dr. Donna Christie, President of the Prince George's County Educators Association, the budget. Thank you, Dr. Christie.
Thank you. And yeah, I had no difficulty getting in the door. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Dr. Donna Christie, President of the Prince George's County Educators Association, representing our 10,000 educators. While the internal struggles of the school board continue, our students and educators need you to focus on what is essential, because there is a crisis in our classrooms. Now more than ever, we are experiencing burnout and stress. Workloads are unreasonable, and the little bit of planning time a teacher might have is stolen to address competing demands. Testing is completely out of control. Even our youngest students are crying out for support. Twice in the past week, guns, actual guns, loaded with bullets, were discovered in our schools. We are heading into the summer anticipating unprecedented staff vacancies and challenges recruiting and retaining educators. There are already 30 vacancies at Golson Middle School alone for next year, and teachers still have until July 15th to resign without penalty. And our community needs to understand that every vacancy manifests anywhere between 20 students at the early childhood and primary level to 200 students at the secondary level going without a teacher. So when you hear of teacher vacancies, that's students without teachers. When a class does not have a teacher, they might get a long-term sub, but more often a patchwork of other educators cover that class, or the class is divided and added into other classes, increasing class sizes. None of that lends itself to moving the needle on academic success. These issues contribute to low star ratings attached to our schools and the continued redlining of our communities. The county council has fully funded your requested budget of $2.6 billion. But without educators to serve our students, that will be $2.6 billion wasted dollars. If you want to talk about fiscal responsibility, let's talk about it. How is it fiscally responsible to run a school system without teachers? If you are not fulfilling the primary mission of our public school system by providing high-quality academic instruction and supporting services to our students, then all of those other programs and positions are for nothing. What are we doing here if we aren't doing that? Without educators to educate our children, every other dollar is wasted. PGCEA has been at the table with the school board's negotiating team, offering proposals to solve real problems, while your team has been gaslighting us with denials and excuses. Today, they came with nothing, not one single counterproposal offered, forcing us into impasse. Please, direct your bargaining team to bargain for the common good and address the many problems facing our faculty, students, and communities, because we need teachers in classrooms, and you're not going to have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Christie. Dr. Christie was the last speaker. We have registered public comment speakers who submitted written documentation from Laurel Volanovic, co-founder, Tired Parents, Gun Violence. This concludes our public comment. The testimony of commenters who registered and provided written or electronic testimony has been posted on board docs for review by board members and the public. Now we will move to item 4.0, consent agenda. Mr. Dickerson, please introduce item number 4 under consent agenda.
Madam Chair, item 4.1 requires board approval of a proclamation commemorating National Caribbean American Heritage Month during the month of June 2022.
May I have a motion to approve item 4.1? Second. It has been moved and second to approve the proclamation for the observation of National Caribbean American Heritage Month during the month of June 2022. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? No abstentions. The motion carries. Now, Mr. Dickerson, please introduce items 5.1 through 5.14.
Madam Chair, the administration will introduce item 5.1 through 5.13. Item 5.14 requires the board to introduce and take action. Having said that, 5.1 through 5.13 are June 2022 expenditure requirements, FY 2023 non-resident tuition rates, fiscal year 2022 financial review and categorical changes, FY 2023 facility usage fees, servicing and maintaining of flow-based and volume-based interceptors, elevator replacement for Central, Parkdale, and Potomac High Schools, Flintstone, Gladys Noon Spellman, Woodridge, and Ridgecrest Elementary Schools, James Madison Middle School, and Judith P. Hoyer Learning Center at Cool Springs Elementary School. HVAC replacement project at Arrowhead Elementary School, change orders for work at Potomac Landing Elementary School, Patuxent Elementary School, New Glenridge Area Middle School, and William Wirt Middle School. Replacement of the cooling tower system at Mount Rainier Elementary School. Complex replacement approval of NTE guaranteed maximum price for construction of Suitland High School. That concludes the administration's items.
514.
That's for the board.
Okay. Do you all want to vote on 5? Well, 514 is request for the legal counsel services. Okay, so we're doing 514 separately. So I'm going to call for a motion that is to accept these items 5.1 through 5.13 for the budget consent agenda.
Second.
And the student cannot vote on this one. Is there any discussion? Mr. Harris, Board Member Harris.
Yes, thank you for acknowledging me. Can we take 513 separately?
Which one?
513.
513? Okay. 513 we'll vote on separately. Board, was that it, Mr. Harris?
Amend the motion.
Yeah, thank you.
I will amend my motion to include 5.1 through 5.12.
And I
Board-
second.
Board Member Thomas.
I was going to ask for the same thing as Board Member Harris.
So may I have, the motion has been amended, and we will vote on items 5.1 through 5.12 under the budget consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries to approve, to approve the proposal for the budget consent agenda, items 5.1 through 5.12. The motion carries. Now we'll go back to 5.13, Suitland High School complex replacement approval of NTE guaranteed maximum price for construction manager at risk contract. Mr. Harris, Board Member Harris.
I move that we accept
Oh.
5.13 at 5.13 Suitland High School.
It's been moved in second to accept 5.13 Suitland High School complex replacement approval. Any discussion? Board Member Harris.
Thanks for acknowledging me. I don't even know who to direct the question at. Is there someone here?
Mr. Hertzman or Mr. Fawcett, Dr. Fawcett?
Oh, hey.
Oh, it's Mr. yeah,
Hey,
Matlock
didn't
is
see you over
here.
there, Mr. Matlock. Can you speak kind of generally about where the increase came from? Or maybe I'm reading this wrong. I see indirects at 30 million, 29 million approximately.
Sorry. Are you talking about the increase from the original projected budget?
I am.
Yes. So the increase in the original projected budget is significant in that we've experienced extreme rises in costs in construction material and in labor. We've seen roughly, I meet about once a month with all the other LEA directors for construction. We've seen about a 25 to 30% increase in construction costs across the board. So, for example, an elementary school that would cost $40 million about a year and a half ago now costs about 66. We are right now working to try and value engineer as much of it down as we can, but we're seeing a lot of fluctuation in the market. This building is mostly steel and glazing, and steel went up from 2020 to 2021 by 127%, and then from 2021 to 2022 by another 54%. So we're just seeing high escalation in pricing. We don't have a final number yet, but this is our guarded GMP.
Right. So I understand that the global supply chain can impact the fluctuation in the price, also the cost of importing parts and the labor costs and things of that nature. So within this report, I guess is a not to exceed guaranteed maximum price. So sorry, I'm also slightly processing all these numbers at the same time. But that answered my initial question. And last question, for your unscoped factors in your, I guess, metric table that you provided, can these percentages decrease? Like some of these percentages say 20% unscoped factor, can they decrease as a result?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
It's a guaranteed maximum. It's not a floor, so.
Okay. And last thing, does this still track milestones the same, or is the schedule pushed out, slipped to the right at all as a?
It's still, as we presented to the OBAFA committee,
Okay.
it's the same schedule.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
We should be groundbreaking on the 30th of this month.
Thank you.
Any other questions in reference to 513?
Dr. Miller, as a follow-up question over here. So, Mr. Mallock, do you expect that we'll have similar increases moving forward, that you'll be coming back to the board on a regular basis, asking for increases?
I do anticipate, as you can see, we have a couple of, that you voted on already, a couple of increases that we had at New Glen Ridge and that we had at William Wirt. These are all raised based on escalation in the marketplace. We're trying to release materials as early as possible so that we don't have to come back. But on this contract for construction services, we should not need to come back.
Thank you. Any further discussion on 513? Call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries to accept the budget consent item for Suitland High School complex replacement approval of NTE guaranteed maximum price for construction manager at risk contract. Motion carries. All right, next we will have 6.0. 5.14, the request for proposal for board legal counsel services. Board Vice Chair Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 5.14, request for proposal, legal services. In response to the need for legal services for the Board of Education, RFP 019-22 legal services was released to the public on March 2nd, 2022. The purpose of the solicitation was to partner with a qualified law firm to provide legal services to the Board of Education. In response to the solicitation, the board received 2 proposals. After the committee evaluated the proposals, the panel consisted of 3 board members, including an external attorney to help us review the proposals. The minimum score of 80 points was established in order for the respondents to move forward in the process. The committee reviewed the proposals for technical experience, and then we reviewed the financial proposals separately, and the purchasing office assisted us with this process. The team independently conducted their technical reviews based on the information that was included in the RFP and scored each proposal separately. On May 16th, oral interviews were conducted with both firms and scores were allocated accordingly. Both respondents were qualified to move forward in the process, and the pricing was then distributed and reviewed and scored separately. As a result, Shipley & Horn was selected as the vendor to provide services for this contract. Shipley & Horn was received the highest technical score and provided the lowest financial offering. And as a result, we expect that there will be a budget implication of $765,000 over the next 5 years, and the proposals, the contract will include the potential contract also consists of 2 additional one-year renewals. So there are 2 two-year contracts and then one-year renewal that is being offered. And with that, we're ready to take a motion to accept Shipley & Horn as the selected vendor to provide legal services to the Board of Education.
Vice Chair, I'm going to ask you to I'm going to recuse myself from voting on this. So I'm going to ask you to go through with that.
Can we have a motion to accept the recommendation of the review panel to accept Shipley & Horn as the legal counsel to provide services to the Board of Education?
I move that we accept the recommendation to accept Shipley & Horn as our legal representatives.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any discussion?
Board Member Thomas.
Yeah, thank you. Just a couple of questions. First, are we able to disclose who sat on the committee?
Yeah, what did he say?
Board Member Sheila Adams Stafford, Board Member Judy McMurray. I also served on the committee, and we had a external attorney.
Miley or something like that. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I can't
While
remember.
she's looking, you want to call one, Board Member Harris?
I'm sorry, I wasn't done.
Oh,
Yeah.
The external attorney is Mr. Edmund O'Malley.
Right, O'Malley.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm familiar with that attorney. Am I also able to ask, I know Shipley Horn was the selected firm, are we able to disclose who was the non-selected firm?
I don't think we're supposed to.
The two firms that responded were Shipley and Horn and Andy Nussbaum.
Great, thank you. I know Mr. Nussbaum has been serving our board for the last several months. And so personally, I find that over the last several months, it has been a breath of fresh air to have counsel who has been, I think, quite impartial, very, very measured in all of his approaches, has done a really effective job of not taking sides on what has been a very divided board over the last several months. And I also think about how Mr. Nussbaum came in at a time where we were lacking legal counsel for quite a while and came in and provided some stabilization. I also want to note the backlog of appeals that our board has been faced with for quite some time, that I thought Mr. Nussbaum did quite a diligent job of helping us to break down and get some of these names off of our list that had just been sitting there for quite a while. And so all in all, I say this to really voice support for, I guess, the firm that was not selected during this process, and I respect the nature of the process. But I am curious as to why. I would love if board members who sat on the panel could maybe offer some thoughts as to why we're going in a different direction than what seems to me to have been proven qualified legal services that have been provided over the last several months.
Thank you for your comment, and we definitely appreciate the services that Mr. Nussbaum has provided the board in these times. But just to share with you, the score difference between the respondent number 1 and respondent number 2 was 10.25 points. The highest score received 10.25 points higher than the second on the technical proposal. On the oral interviews, there was 8.25 point difference between the higher and lower respondents. And the price difference, there was a price difference between the highest and lowest respondent. Just one second. We asked each respondent to provide their best and final offer. And let's see if I could pull that up. There was about a $100,000 difference between the higher and lower price proposal.
Per year?
Per year.
Okay. I mean, that's obviously understandable, I think, of all the reasons that were shared. Obviously, the price point rings as something that would matter. I guess I'll use the rest of my time to, I don't know, sound the alarm, I think, to the public, to colleagues on the board who have to vote on this. Once again, for a board that all of us who've been here have had a lot of challenge finding a stable force as our legal counsel, a person who's going to provide sound legal advice and not be partial to board members. I've been more than pleased with Mr. Nussbaum, and I know colleagues probably have been as well. So it's concerning to me that a firm who was brought before this board before, I can't recall whether this board did in fact vote on this firm once and vote down this firm. I think that may not be true. So, but I do just find it concerning that there are board members who have been trying to push this firm forward for quite a while now. And last year, when they did not have the number of votes needed to secure this firm, it was not an option. And suddenly,
Thank you,
after
Board
there has been a legal presence that does not always vote in favor of certain board members, now all of a sudden we have a new proposal to bring in a new firm.
Mr.
So
Thomas,
just sounding the
your time
alarm,
has
that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Harris.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for acknowledging me. First question is regarding the budget implications. Is this a max price of $765K?
That is the potential, and it is the max. They have provided us with hourly rates, and so they will bill per the hours that they use. So it is an expected, the way the solicitation process works, that is the number that procurement brought forth to us.
Right, I follow. And the, so now interested in, you mentioned the technical portion as well as the oral portion of these interviews, and you say 10 1/4 and then 8 1/4 difference. When it comes to, I guess, respondent 1 and respondent 2, for the recommended firm, is there a certain individual that was examined during this time? Because I know they offer multiple attorneys, so.
So the two firms, the two legal firms that put in their proposal, there was one that was a firm that had several attorneys associated with it and paralegal. The other firm that submitted was just a sole practitioner.
Right.
And so there was a difference between the number of attorneys that were available to be on call versus.
I understand. Maybe some clarity is when interviewing the firm with multiple attorneys, were multiple people assessed, or was it just one person from that firm that kind of represented the entire firm?
When the oral, well, in both presentations, both the technical and the oral, the firm that had multiple attorneys and a paralegal, they provided resumes for all of the attorneys that would be assigned to the work. And in the oral argument, in the oral presentation, all of the attorneys assigned to this solicitation were present and presented and answered questions.
Okay. Thank you. That was my question.
Board Member Mickens Murray.
Yes, I would like to add one thing for my colleagues. None of us on the panel knew who received that contract until I saw it on the document posted today, because the process was overseen by procurement. We never saw anybody else's scores. We had a criteria that we had to evaluate, and we each had to give it a score. So I thought it was a very open, transparent process. Thank you.
Board Member Boozer Strother.
Thank you so much, Chair Miller. I just want to thank my colleagues for their service on the selection process, and I appreciate the consideration of a firm that has a government relations team and the deep experience among multiple attorneys to serve a Board of Education of our size. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Board Member, Vice Chair Williams. That was from the last time. Board Member Thomas, was this from the last time, or you have something else to say?
Yeah, no, this is a second one. I was just curious, thanks for the information provided, Vice Chair Williams, about members of the committee, other people considered. Is it also possible for the scoring to be released on these candidates, or is that confidential? Does that stay confidential?
I'll send it to all of the board members right now.
Of I guess to be more specific, individual scores per voting member or evaluating member.
Those have been blacked out by procurement, but you will see individual scores. The respondents' names have been blacked out. Then you will see a cumulative score and then the average score.
Oh, cool. So you can see the breakdown of all, but just anonymously.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Board Member LaSalle Frazier.
Hi, just for clarity, so only 2 firms applied or solicited?
Yes, this is the second time we put out a solicitation for legal services. And the first time, there were 4 firms that responded. This time, only 2. And as you know, in order to submit a proposal, it takes a lot of effort, and it's a costly endeavor. To have firms go through this process and then us not to conclude with an award, in my own personal opinion, and my experience of being a procurement officer, the world then tends to say, should I commit this time and go through this just to not be awarded again? So I'm happy that we were able to get to this point where we may possibly award a contract. So yes, only 2 people responded.
Board Member Alvaro Cerrone Ruiz.
Yeah, just for clarity, Vice Chair Williams. So if the vote tonight does not pass, then the RFP process starts anew. It isn't awarded to the second one, just for clarity.
If this does not pass, then we have to start the process all over again.
All right, thank you.
Call for the vote. Oh, even though I recused myself? Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot I was chairing this one.
Oh, there's another light. Dr. Zipporah.
Apologize, just a quick question. The firm that, Shipley and Horn, they have attorneys who are familiar with education law?
Yes, they have experience with all educational levels from K-12 through universities.
Thank you.
Board Member Thomas.
No, that's okay.
All in favor?
Could we do a roll call, please?
Okay. Can we have a roll call, Ms. Ellis?
Ms. Boozer Struther,
Aye.
Mrs. LaSalle Frazier,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Come back to me.
Mrs. Mickens Murray, Dr. Z. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Thomas,
No.
Mr. Valentine, Mrs. Williams,
Yes.
Dr. Miller,
I can't vote.
She's recusing herself.
I'm sorry,
The
Mr.
motion.
Harris,
Aye.
She didn't hear you.
Aye.
Can we have the count?
It's 7-1. Because the student can't vote.
Mm-hmm. The motion carries. Shipley and Horn is the vendor selected for legal services. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Williams, Vice Chair Williams. Now we will move to item 6.0, governance, second reader, unfinished business. Board Member Mickens Murray, please introduce item 6.1.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The bullying harassment policy, is up for a second reader. We covered the bullying policy before, so I would ask my colleagues to support it for second reader. I don't have notes on it. Where did you go?
You're done introducing?
Yes.
Thank you. Because this is a motion provided to us from the committee, a second is not required.
Right.
Is there any discussion on item 6.1 revisions to policy 5143, bullying, harassment, and intimidation. Any comments? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Next up is new business first reader. Mr. Dickerson, would you please introduce 7.1 and 7.2?
Madam Vice Chair, items 7.1 through 7.6 require board approval as first readers.
We have you down for 7.1 and 7.2. The others are policies.
I stand corrected, yes.
Right.
7.1, 7.2.
May I have a motion to accept items 7.1 and 7.2 as first reader?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Is there any discussion about it going into first reader? Hearing none. All in favor? Any opposition? The motion carries. Next up is items 7.3 through 7.7. Board Member Mickens Murray, would you please introduce these items?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Colleagues, I ask that you approve policy 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7 as a first reader. There were no significant changes with public comments, so therefore, we ask your support for the first reader. Sorry.
Thank you, Board Member Mickens Murray, for introducing draft policy 0107, ethics regulations, draft policy 1120, Maryland Public Information Act, draft policy 5154, student registered sex offenders, entry onto school property, draft policy 5119.3, pregnant and parenting students, and draft policy 3323, bids for first reader. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on accepting it into first reader? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? The motion carries. Those items have been accepted into first reader. Madam Chair, I return the chair.
Thank you. Board Member Mickens Murray, are we on 7.3?
No, we're done.
Oh, 7. Oh, great. Colleagues, follow-up items from May 12th board work session will be posted on board docs for your review upon receipt. Item 10.0, motion to confirm actions taken in executive session. Motion and second to confirm actions taken in executive session on June 9th, 2022 are as follows. To receive a report from the CEO, to discuss approved personnel appointments, to receive a report from internal audit, to receive an update on labor negotiations, to discuss personnel matters, to receive legal advice regarding pending litigation, and to concur with the ethics panel's reports dated July 2021. May I have a motion to confirm the actions taken in the June 9th, 2022 executive session?
So moved. Second.
It has been moved and second to confirm actions taken in executive session on June 9th, 2022. May I have a roll call? Oh, is there any discussion? May I have a roll call?
Mrs. Boozer Strother,
Aye.
Mr. Sharon Ruiz,
Aye.
Mrs. LaSalle Frazier,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Abstain.
Mrs. Mickens Murray,
Aye.
Dr. Z. Miller, Mr. Thomas,
Abstain.
Mr. Valentine? Mrs. Williams?
Aye.
Dr. J. Miller?
Aye. Motion carries. Well, would you give the count again, please?
8 yes, 2 abstains.
Motion carries to confirm actions taken in executive session. Before we adjourn, board members, and we can't meet as a group because we will have adjourned, but if groups of 5 of us or 4 of us meet with Mr. Burnett for a few minutes after we adjourn, so the first 5 will meet with him in the conference room. Is that okay, Mr. Burnett? Okay. So may I have a motion to, first of all, I'd like to thank you, colleagues, for your contributions tonight and the collegiality that we shared here this evening. With that, may I have a motion to adjourn? It has been moved and second to adjourn. Any discussion? The motion carries. This meeting has ended for June 9th, 2022.
Aye.
Yes.
5 o'clock.